This is an excerpt from my book, Traveling the Wilderness Road. We will continue our travels along the Wilderness Road from Wallens Creek Road in Stickleyville, Virginia. Return to US 58, US 421, and turn left. Travel northwestward on US 58, US 421 for 2 miles. We will ascend Wallens Ridge, which, like the creek, was named for Elisha Wallen, a long hunter who frequented this region along with his sons and grandsons. Pull over just after topping Wallens Ridge at the Long Hunters historical marker. It reads, Long Hunters, so named because they left home for months at a time, pursued game beyond the limits of Euro-American settlement in the 18th century. Hunting parties of 10 formed in the Holston River Valley and traveled west before setting up base camps from which hunters dispersed in groups of 2 or 3. In 1761, Elisha Wallen established the first known base camp here in Powell Valley. Long hunters, including Daniel Boone, explored present-day Kentucky and Tennessee and brought back deer, elk, and bison hides and beaver and otter pelts to sell in eastern markets. Native Americans, primarily Cherokee and Shawnee, violently resisted this use of their traditional hunting territory. Continue down the north side of Wallens Ridge on US 58, US 421 for 2.1 miles. If reports are accurate that Daniel Boone's main party camped at the head of Station Creek in 1773 while waiting for his son, James, it would have been near the foot of this ridge. However, if the information is correct that the original trail followed Wallens Creek to Slagle's Gap, Boone would not have crossed Wallens Ridge here, but rather near the mouth of Station Creek. Keep straight on US 58 when US 421 forks to the north. Continue for 2.3 miles. Hickory Flats Road, Virginia 638, intersects with US 58 on the right. This is where the Lovelady Gap route, an alternate alignment of the Wilderness Road indicated by red dots on the illustration, would have joined our route. Although the Lovelady Gap trail was longer, it meant the travelers would ford the 2 smaller forks of Powell River separately rather than trying to cross farther downstream after the branches combined and the river was wider. With the outbreak of Lord Dunmore's war against the Shawnee and Mingos in 1774, the royal governor of the colony of Virginia ordered the militia to fortify the western frontier. Captain William Russell was still in command at Castle's Woods. He mustered the militia, and they planned the location and number of fortifications. The forts were completed in 2 weeks. They were located at strategic points on the Indian war trails, through passages, and at river fords. Every capable man on the western frontier was required to serve 1 month per year on duty at one of the forts. As the settlements increased in the area, the pioneers gathered at the forts for protection in times of siege. During the Revolutionary War, the British armed the Cherokee and Shawnee in order to assist in their assault against the Americans. The Indians continued to attack the settlements in a constant series of raids long after the war ended. The settlers began to build fort houses for their protection instead of relying solely on the palisaded forts. Pull over at the turnout on the left after passing the prison and the two-story brick house. Caution: the Lee Federal Prison is nearby. Do not pick up hitchhikers. This spot provides a view of Station Creek as it meanders through the valley on its way to Powell River. Slagle's Gap, where the earliest trail crossed Wallen's Ridge, is to the southwest, but it may be difficult to discern because it is not a deep notch. Continue on US 58 for 0.2 miles, then turn left onto Wooliver Road, Virginia 792, and go 0.4 miles. When the new owners of this old log house began tearing away the siding and the addition that had been built 150 years prior, they discovered this treasure underneath. It is believed to be the original Rocky Station Fort House, built in 1774 or 1775 by Isaac Chrisman, Jr. The logs are hand-hewn and held together by round pegs. No nails. Clay mud was used for chinking. The fireplace was built of rocks tooled from a quarry on the farm, and there is a hand-dug basement. The house was used as a hospital during the Civil War and as a courthouse for a while before one in Jonesville was built. However, another researcher says this information is erroneous, and the house was actually built by Chrisman's brother Gabriel around 1793. The only thing certain is that there was a fort house near here called Rocky Station, and it was one of only a few to remain garrisoned during the Revolutionary War. Remember, this is private property. The owners do not mind sightseers taking pictures, but do not trespass. The photo I took was during renovation of the house in 2010. Continue on Wooliver Road, Virginia 792, for 0.1 mile, then turn left onto US 58. After 0.4 mile, pull over to the right just before the bridge. The Poteet Ferry Bridge crosses the Powell River here. The Powell River originates in Wise County and flows southwestward across Lee County into Tennessee, where it joins the Clinch River at Norris Lake. Although the original route was south of this location, this is the nearest road across Powell River. The official auto tour indicates there were two fords of the Wilderness Road downstream from here. Neither of them is currently accessible to vehicular traffic. Follow US 58 for 5.8 miles. While climbing the bluff after crossing Powell River, pay close attention to the hill on the opposite side of the river. Notice the trail coming down the hillside. This is reportedly the actual original Wilderness Road. Use caution if trying to view the trail while driving. This can be a dangerous stretch of highway. There is no safe place to pull off the road. After reaching the top of the hill, we can look to our right and get a view of the rich farmland with Poor Valley Ridge and Stone Mountain in the background. The soil is suitable for crops, especially corn, tobacco, and hay, as well as pastures. Stone Mountain becomes Cumberland Mountain north of Jonesville, although there is no break in the surface. The Kentucky and Virginia boundary runs in a north-south direction at that point. West of there, it runs along the crest of the mountain. This line follows the Tennessee Valley Divide. Rain that falls on the Virginia side of the mountain will drain into the Tennessee River, whereas rain falling on the Kentucky side ends up in the Cumberland River. Because the eastern portion of the mountain lies completely in Virginia, its citizens claimed it as theirs and gave it a different name. Along with the gently rolling hills, we will also see some farmhouses, including old two-story houses. The fertile soil and spreading vistas must have been appealing to the early settlers. Follow US 58 as it curves to the right when we enter Jonesville. Turn right at the traffic light onto Main Street, US 58 alternate, and go 1 block to the top of the hill. Turn left onto Church Street and find a parking spot. The Lee County Courthouse is on the opposite side of Main Street. Although the courthouse itself is not old, its location is significant. This was the site of Mumps Fort. It was built in the fall of 1775 by William Mumps. The fort was evacuated in 1776 and never reoccupied, although there is evidence it may have been used occasionally by the Holston militia. Lee County was formed in 1792 from Russell County. It was named in honor of General Henry Light Horse Harry Lee, a Revolutionary War soldier and the governor of Virginia at the time the county was formed. Before the Civil War, Lee County's economy was mainly agricultural. Many water-powered grist mills were built in the county. The discovery of coal in the late 1800s led to the growth of the railroad and the establishment of townships and eventually municipalities. Jonesville, the county seat, was founded in 1795 and named for Frederick Jones. It was incorporated in 1884 and reincorporated in 1901. In its earlier years, it was known as Glade Spring.